Hello, my name is Anthony Roque, and I'm going to be presenting on how my identity has been shaped by how I am socially, how I interact with my own culture, and how I view myself as a bisexual male in our ever changing society. That being said, one of the biggest things that I hold most dear to me is my culture, since I don't think I would be much without it, since it has allowed me to grow as a person, allowed me to obtain morals and values that I hold dear and uphold in daily life. Within the Hispanic community itself, it can be pretty difficult since we use a ton of context to where it can be said that we use social, psychological, and a lot of cultural context. With social context, it's mainly reliant with social and psychological context. Actually, they go hand in hand, since how we talk to people in terms of tone of voice, in terms of what we say at what point in time in the conversation, can turn it a whole 180. Certain words will have certain bad connotations to it depending on when you say it or how loud or what part of the word you put the most emphasis on. You could be meaning to say something positive, but they take it as negative. That being said, having to dodge those never ending bullets of having incorrect context to a certain conversation has allowed me to grow a thick skin, and not only that, become quite versatile when trying to resolve certain arguments or being open-minded to different types of sides. Since I'm constantly thinking about what the person is thinking or what the person is saying. Then we have cultural context. With cultural context, we have certain beliefs that we hold dear to us that not that many people do, in terms of medicine, in terms of interaction, in terms of the workforce. With cultural context, we have always, as a Hispanic community, known that you must work twice as hard to get half as much. So constantly working, constantly, trying to be number one, constantly trying to show who I am as a person has always been quite the struggle, when it comes to work, when it comes to standing out in a crowd full of other people trying to do the exact same thing. That being said, gender and culture both have strong ties to each other, especially in the Hispanic community, since there seems to be a lot of machismo, the type of man that is the breadwinner, the masculine, brawny man that shows everyone's who's boss. But sadly enough, that hasn't really been me, since I've always been, I don't want to say submissive, but I'm like the yes guy, or the person that wants to avoid confrontation, lover, not a fighter. That being said, I had never thought about it, but with memory schema, it has allowed me to connect certain concepts going hand in hand, how I relate to said concepts, how I am able to nitpick at each one. Then with implicit a memory schema, I'm able to connect those traits and behaviors and pick and choose who I want to be as a person. I still retain my own masculine charm, but I don't believe in the whole breadwinner act. I believe in 50-50 dual input, complete equality between both genders. And it has allowed me to form the judgment that I want to be outside of the box, not be I not want to say ideal Hispanic man, but the stereotyped Hispanic man, in terms of who I am as a person or how I react or act. I'm loud and boisterous, but that's because that's just who I am as a person. I've always said that if I don't correct you or if I don't state my opinion, that means I really don't care about you in the first place. Especially being in the community of queers as a bisexual male, I've always not feel outcasted, but feel like there's not enough of my type of people that I can relate to. And I always change on who I am as a person depending on who I'm with. I'll show my feminine side when I'm with my more queer friends, or I'll show my more masculine, nonchalant, dark humor side when I'm with my more masculine friends. And that constant switch has slowly been integrating each other in terms of how I am as a person and what I say and what I do. And my gender itself, I do identify as, as a cisgender male, bisexual, but I've never really fallen within the gaps of, let's say, complete masculinity or complete femininity, since gender is just a construct that's meant to be broken down, and our own perception of it is what's important, and what we believe in it is what's important, not what others think gender should completely be, you know? And within gender and culture, they then integrate onto how I react socially to people, or how I am in terms of most types of, conversations, situations, or my personality in itself. My personality is pretty, let's say, loud, comedic, sarcastic, and I could say I do have a temper, but I'm pretty passive aggressive, and you mainly see it on my face because I have a pretty bad RBF. But I tend not to show it, and I, try to, put down all the negative attitudes that I might have. And, as I've been reading this chapter, one of the best things that has helped me is the guidelines for improving my social linguistic meanings. That being said, is to develop intercultural competence, to be aware of different types of cultures around me, their practices, their beliefs, how they interact with people in different cultures, find different things disrespectful, and I've learned to either stay away from it in terms of to avoid it, or completely embrace it and show my appreciation for said culture. Also, a great way that I've shown is to practice my own mindfulness as a person, to be able to read the room, to be able to show that I at least have an empathetic side, or I hear what they're saying and I'm trying to, I don't want to say agree with them, but I hear them out. They're not being heard. And that's one of the ways that socially as a person I've been able to grow and been able to create so many bonds, is by listening. I'm always asking all of my coworkers, all my employees, how are you doing? How has your day been? About specific events that I've only talked to about them, and vice versa. And I feel like that they feel quite good, when I talk to them about that, because I listen. Listening is one of the most important traits as me as a person, because I have bad memory when it comes to education, but I have stupid memory when it comes to certain events, especially the best memory when it comes to those I cherish the most, And one of the last things that I have seen that as a guideline that has helped me, or that I didn't know that I was using, was recognizing and respecting and being able to adapt to the social linguistic practice of others, what they believe, their ethics, their morals. I'm not going to outright disagree with them, but I will try to, like I said, listen to them, see their side, and try to, integrate myself into it, or believe part of it. And all in all, socially, culturally, and as a male in terms of gender, that has been how I've been able to grow in terms of identity. It can be said as a bubbly guy with, little southern masculine charm sometimes, or a feminine submissive person that doesn't want to state their opinion because he's afraid of either being told it's incorrect or knocked down, or turning into confrontation. So all in all, those three have shown me how to be as a person, and what it means to be, one, a Hispanic proud male, Mexican Salvadorian, a very happy and joyful bisexual male in the community who has masculine and feminine charms, and an outgoing and social person who isn't afraid to state his own opinion, but is also quite receptive of most of the advice and feedback he gets, or receptive of all the different types of viewpoints I get in my life. Thank you so much, and have a great day.